Alright, so I just got back in from watching Spider-Man Brand New Day. What did I think about it? Let's talk.
We're faced with a threat that can be anyone.
You sure you want to do this, Scorpion? You think I'm Scorpion?
I'm much worse.
You okay, kid? Yeah, you're okay.
Guys, welcome. I have just got back from watching Spider-Man Brand New Day, the latest Spider-Man movie in the MCU. Obviously starring Tom Holland, Zendaya. It has John Bernthal as the Punisher. And we get like Bruce Banner back as and Hulk, and there's a load of stuff to talk about. Let's talk about the positive. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun, exciting, thrilling. Some great action set pieces, some great visuals, although a little bit murky, a little bit grey, and a little bit colourless, I guess is what I'd say. Is kind of washed out look to it at times. I miss the days of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies that were really bright. I said this in my previous video that I did. I did like a temperature check on the franchise before I went and watched this. So if you want to check that out, my thoughts on all the movies in the Spider-Man universe, go and check that out. But yeah, very washed out, and I miss the days of that kind of summer feeling movie that you got with the Spider-Man movies. And even some of the Tom Holland ones that I didn't enjoy had that. Like, I feel like Far From Home had some real like summer moments, even though I didn't particularly really like that film. The tone was a little bit better, I think, than this one. Anyway, it was good to see Spider-Man be Spider-Man and be that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and be the protector of New York, that hero of the city, and kind of getting back to how we wanted to see Spider-Man in the MCU eventually. And I like the character progression. There's another thing I've said before. We've seen character progression throughout these movies. This is the first movie not directed by John Watts. This is a new director, the same guy that did Shang-Chi. Destin Daniel Cretton directed this. He also did Just Mercy, which I thought was a great film. Really awesome film. And did Shang-Chi as well. So, really good director. Really liked what he did with the movie. And I thought that John Bernthal and Tom Holland, obviously they have great on-screen on-screen chemistry like nothing you believe. Like, it is good. And that's because they've done films together before. They're friends in real life, and you can feel that on screen. You really do feel that. It's the same way that you totally buy the love between Mary Jane and Peter Parker is because, well, they love each other in real life. They're married, right? So all of that chemistry shows really well on screen, and I think that was great. Also seeing Bruce Banner be the Hulk, and the Hulk as we've always wanted to see him. Well, at least we have seen it before, but we haven't seen it in a long time. And I feel like this is the first time we see a decent version of Hulk. Probably since the Avengers, actually, the first Avengers movie. Really good. Sadie Sink is in this, and I'm not going to spoil her character and who she plays, but everyone knows. I just don't want to be that guy that like ruins it for someone. So Sadie Sink is in the movie. She's great as her character as well. We have a bit of the Scorpion in this movie, which was fun, but not quite as much as I expected him to be in the movie, to be honest. And there were some other characters that we see in the trailer that we didn't see much of. So that was interesting. There's definitely a very much a surprise element to this movie, which I did appreciate. Now, we have to talk about the fact that this movie is overstuffed. This is what holds the movie back. The movie is too long. I'd say maybe 20 to 30 minutes too long. I feel like what I really like to... I liked Homecoming, and Homecoming's my favorite Spider-Man movie because of the pacing, because of the simplicity, and other things as well. Like obviously Michael Keaton, I loved. But with this, it felt it reminded me of Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 is still a much worse movie. This movie is much better than Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which are my least two favorite movies. And there are elements of this movie that make it the best Spider-Man movie, but it falls short because of the overstuffed nature of the film and for that reason, it fails at its pacing. There's times when I'm like, okay, come on, like pick this up, like get this done, because it's dealing with a lot of stuff. Now there are going to be spoilers here for the other Spider-Man movies before this with Tom Holland, so just a heads up. But in the last movie, obviously Doctor Strange had that spell where they made everyone forget who Peter Parker was, right? And that is having to be kind of touched upon in this movie, and it slows it down because it unfortunately doesn't really go many places that you want it to, which is a shame. And then you have obviously like some villains in there. You have this relationship with the detective, and you just have all these different elements, like with John Berthnall's Punisher and the Hulk, and he's battling this mutation. And I would have liked to have seen more of the mutation stuff go a little bit further than it did. Unfortunately, it didn't go that far. And really, there are elements of the film that are more interesting than the way that they carried. Like the overall plot is good. The overall story, the main story with the main villain is good. But at times there's things introduced in the film like I would rather go and see what's going on in there, like going on in that situation more so. I really found some of it just drag. Some of the scenes just dragged, and I was checking the time and seeing I'm thinking like this is a long movie. There were times in this movie I was like, how is this still going? And I was watching the Odyssey, and that was like 3 hours, and I was like, that did not feel like 3 hours. The pacing of this movie is just interrupted over and over and over again, and that's such a shame because this could have been the best Spider-Man movie. I really liked some of the swinging sequences through the city, reminded me again of some of the best Spider-Man moments. Had this kind of element of Spider-Man 2 here and there that I really liked. But yeah, it was the pacing, unfortunately, that held this movie down. Well directed. Again, I just think the color palette could have been a little bit more bright and nice to look at, because this film kind of feels a little bit depressing at times. It feels like the color palette is so consistent and grey and a bit sort of autumnal. It's like an autumnal Spider-Man movie almost, and it's just very washed out, and that's kind of disappointing to me. I would have loved to have seen more colorful moments. The performances all around were really good. I really liked the kind of twists and turns at times as well. Really liked the mechanic of our villain and what they were able to do. I can't spoil it too much, but yeah, they had this unique power that we haven't seen in the MCU thus far, and it feels threatening, and that was really good. That felt like Spider-Man had a challenge. And that's always good for like superhero movies. If you know, you don't want to put like a character against someone that they can easily defeat or are forgettable, and we've had that a few times. By the way, I did get my popcorn bucket. So sitting nicely next to Mando here. Oh, it was kind of fun to see. Cinema was absolutely packed too. There was no free seats in there. That was good to see because my local cinema, it's quiet most of the time, but in recent weeks, it's really picked up. So that just goes to show. I think cinemas are, the cinema crowd is back finally after the pandemic, which is nice to see. So the music was good, the score was good, the cinematography was good. It was good. Like I said, other than the color palette, everything else was there. It just needed a little bit more color to it, and I just had a good time. Like I said, it was really funny, and every time John Berthnall and Tom Holland were on screen, I was laughing. They would just have these quips against each other that were really good, and Florence Pugh is in the movie again as Yelena from Thunderbolts, and I thought she was great. Like she was funny. She had some great moments on screen. There's some good chemistry between her and Tom Holland as well. And again, it just felt a little bit short though. It felt like I could have done a little. I would have liked to have seen her character more involved, but there's a good reason she's not too. So that was well done. I also didn't know it was Naomi Watts voicing Peter's AI assistant. Right, that was really really interesting. I didn't know that until afterwards. And Keith David is in this somewhere as an undisclosed role, which was even more interesting. It was a very fun movie. I was laughing a lot, and I really liked the Hulk as well in this movie. Just seeing the Hulk do his thing properly, because he's been nerfed for a huge portion of the Infinity Saga, because he could have just completely wrecked Thanos every single time, but they needed him to be nerfed for that story to work. So now he's more unleashed. It's really, really cool to see. And he gets big in this, like the biggest we've seen him in ages. But yeah, I definitely recommend this one. This one definitely sits again. It's not the best Spider-Man movie. You know, my top 3 Spider-Man movies are still Spider-Man: Homecoming, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. Then it's this one. So I think if the pacing was better, it could have easily slipped past all 3 of those movies. It's just that so many times in the movie I was like, come on, let's wrap this up. I want to see more of what's actually happening in the story, and not these annoying subplots that seem to be just dragging out every time they come onto the screen. And that was unfortunate, especially after like 3 other movies that, as much as I didn't like Far From Home, No Way Home and Homecoming have great pacing, and this one is just falls short there. But guys, I would highly recommend this one. Check this one out. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie. And are you going to see this movie? Are you not going to see this movie? Are you really not much of a Spider-Man fan anymore? There are people out there that haven't really connected with Spider-Man outside of the Tobey Maguire series. I know, like I said in my last video, that my brother grew up on Spider-Man, loved Spider-Man, but is not connecting with like the new Marvel stuff. So are you one of these people? And would you compare this to Spider-Man 3? Because there are definitely some similarities with the fact that it's overstuffed. But it was great fun, guys. I hope you get to see it, and I hope you enjoy it. As always, take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.